I'm Christian. I always struggled with addiction since I was a teenager. So I was anything under the sun I was addicted to. So it was mainly heroin and then seasonally meth. Um, and then I always just struggled with depression. That's the whole reason I did drugs because it was just kind of a numbing agent for me because I just had horrible, horrible suicidal depression all the time. Very dramatic. Um, but it was horrible. So yeah, I just stuck with drugs and I was functional for a long time. I was a pretty functional drug addict. So I was working full time all the time, had my own place, my own car, and then eventually just got to the point where I couldn't sustain it anymore. And I ended up on the streets. Yeah, so I just moved to Portland. I had just gotten clean from heroin a couple weeks earlier, but I was homeless. So I was living on the streets in a park in Vegas, and then finally just asked my mom, I was like, can you just help me with a plane ticket so I could get out of here? And she was like, yeah, I could help you out a little bit. So she helped me get to Portland. And then I just kind of was roaming. I met Mason and we just kind of hit it off. And then he told me that if I needed a place to stay for a day or two, then just to give him a call. So then a couple days later, I called him and I was like, I need to sleep. So he let me sleep. I slept for like 48 hours and then I cleaned his whole place, and then he was just like, "Okay, you can stay for a little bit." I was like, "Okay, yeah, just another week. That's it." Yeah, but 3 years later, it turned out well. So I've always had like a backup plan to just kill myself if I couldn't survive something. And Mason, I remember that first week, he wouldn't shut up about the principles. Like he just kept talking about the Insight Alliance and the principles. And but I was really receptive to it because I kind of wanted something to change. So I was just really receptive and a lot of it just kind of hit me like, oh wow, that does make sense. Like, yeah, that's right. So that completely changed. I don't experience depression or anything anymore. I just don't take my thoughts too seriously. But yeah, I got rid of all my anxiety. So I think a lot of my depression was I definitely chased the chicken. Like, well, I have all these reasons to be miserable and nothing's ever going to get better for these reasons. And I always had like a long list of reasons why I shouldn't feel good or I won't ever feel good. So I think the the main thing was just like that if you just let the thought pass, you don't need to chase it. If you just let it pass, it'll make its way out of your head. So I think that was the main insight that I had was like you don't have to chase those thoughts. You don't, you know. So that was the catalyst for me. And then everything else after made sense. So so I know with people in my situation that I was in when I was living in Las Vegas, I know there's a lot of problems that just can't be fixed with just a different state of mind, but I know that if I would have at least heard a couple of the principles and was receptive to it back then, I would have done a lot better and in my own mental state. Because I know that's a rock bottom that you hit and there's none other like it. So I feel like a lot of good could could come out of just even knowing the basics or having one insight. There's always more to be understood, but even just one insight could change just about everything within yourself. Um, yeah, I just wish I would have. I wish the Insight Alliance was in Las Vegas during that time a few years ago.